Hey, welcome to my channel. Just wanted to make a quick video going over a surprisingly strong Dreadclaws build for the Warlock in the Lord of Hatred expansion. So for this build, we're using Harash's Shadow 5-piece charm set. So the 2-piece set bonus is enemies within shadow form areas are dominated for up to 7 seconds, preventing them from acting and causing them to move where you target with recast skills. This build doesn't even use a recast, but the strength of this initial part is dominating enemies in shadow form areas, which will increase our damage in the 5-piece set. So the 3-piece set is shadow form reduces damage taken by 25% and leaves a sigil of subversion shadow trail behind you while you're moving. This shadow trail is where we're going to get our consistent source of shadow form, which is going to feed our damage. The 5-piece set bonus is your abyss skills, which Dreadclaws is. Your abyss skills damage is increased by 350% while you have shadow form, but each cast consumes 1 stack. We're just going to be gaining a consistent source of shadow form to feed our Dreadclaw's damage boost. So with this charm set, using the Mastermind Shard and the Unfathomable Fragment, we can maintain our source of shadow form stacks and just keep casting it with huge damage bonus. At the end of the video, I'll go over the other non-essential aspects and the Paragon board I'm using. This setup is by no means optimized. That's kind of why I think it's fun though, because as long as you have the charms, the rest of it's just sort of a bonus. So in addition to these charms, I'm using the Litany of Sable Dagger, which is a Dreadclaw's damage modifier, increases the damage. And additional claws fire out when you gain a stack of shadow form, which you'll always be having. The Fathomless Dark aspect, which increases abyss skill damage, which Dreadclaws is. The Peril aspect, which increases the damage you deal to vulnerable enemies, and Dreadclaws is constantly applying vulnerability on enemies. And the Enfeebling aspect, which has a chance to make vulnerable enemies weak. And also the Eye of Baal, which is just a damage bonus, because we're going to be casting Command Laylish as a way to start our shadow form stack building. So once we cast Command Laylish, that will create shadow form areas that will dominate the enemies, and it will also begin our shadow trails, which will give us the stacks of shadow form. I'm also using Nether Step, which also gives stacks of shadow form. Primarily, this is just a movement ability. It's great to cast into combat and start casting Dreadclaws. I'm using Tortured Wretch as the Greater Demon, which is also a taunt, and it also mirrors our Dreadclaw cast, which is an AoE around us and the Greater Demon. And I'm also using Metamorphosis with Terror Demon. So Metamorphosis does a few things. It gives us 20% increased max life. It decreases the cost of dominance skills, which Tortured Wretch is. And when we're using Terror Demon, this is also a consistent form of shadow form stacks. And it lasts for 21 seconds. So it's 21 seconds of gaining those stacks. We don't need this to gain stacks, but it is another way to do it. And it just gives us other bonuses. So it's very useful. I am also using Hellion Sting. This is just a way to generate wrath. It does eviscerate enemies, which is nice, and eviscerated enemies when hit with Hellion Sting grant us fortification. In future iterations of this build, Fortify can be used to increase damage with the crushing aspect and damage reduction with the aspect of coagulation. There are ways to really optimize this build that I'm not doing, but at its current state, it doesn't really need it. That's just how strong it is right now. So I'm going to run a tier 40 Torment 6 pit to show off sort of how the build flows. And you'll see that once I go in, I will cast Command Laylish and get that trail going. And you'll see that it just keeps on giving me stacks. And as soon as I run out of stacks, I'll cast it again and just keep that going. Yeah, check it out. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I stream on YouTube and Twitch daily, and I've been streaming this a whole lot. So if you want to come hang out, watch a little bit, chat a bit, feel free, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.